What's going on, homies? Welcome to the Crack Soccer Podcast, episode number 33. It is that time of the year, ladies and gentlemen. The MLS playoffs are right around the corner. Every tackle, every goal, every heartbeat matters as these clubs go in for a shot at glory. And guess who's been watching from across the pond? The one and only Jurgen Klopp. He's been seeing some bright future coming out of MLS because the stars are shining, the passion's growing, and the world is finally taking notice. But some other news, some legends on the rise, some icons of the game are actually going to be hanging up their boots soon at the end of this year and potentially even season. Also, we do have the Campeones Cup this Wednesday with another cup, the US Open Cup, MLS versus Liga MX, and some top MLS teams going for some glory, going for some silverware. And to cap it all off, we're going to obviously be discussing a little bit of the World Cup and what you need to know for this upcoming World Cup and how you can get some tickets. All this on the Crack Soccer Podcast, episode number 33. Coming at you, baby. Tap in. Bang, bang.
So what you're telling me is Jurgen Klopp has been coming to my Tuesday games.
He has. He has been, dude. He's looking at you. He's been watching the podcast, actually. He's been looking at like,
Let's go.
This Fern guy?
Hey, I scored twice last week. So he must have been watching.
Trying to clop
Really?
those cheeks.
Just
Nice, dude. Sick, boys. How we feeling, man? I know it's Monday, the weekend. How we feeling? We watched plenty of games, or mainly just some NFL?
I watched a few of the soccer games, but I was woken up to the fact that I forgot to bench one of my starting wide receivers that was injured. So my week went well, and to top it off, I just witnessed my other good wide receiver's knee explode into like 3 million pieces. So that's how my week's going.
Dang. Well, that happens, man. I mean, it's terrible news for sure, but I'm sorry to hear. What about you, PZ?
Peep that score right now, baby. Look at the Broncos moving the ball. Look at the Broncos just absolutely destroying the Bengals, bro. It's a good night. After seeing that, my night just got a whole lot better. Also, just like another chef's kiss. Who is this? Who is this taking that L to your boy? Is that
140? You put up 142?
and
Jeez.
counting, baby, against your younger brother. So shouts out to you.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude. He had a monster week last week, and then this week he just
shat the bed. Like I was like, damn, it's gonna be a close one, and no, it's been unfortunate for him. Very fortunate for me. R.I.P. Lamar Jackson. Shouts out to the MLS. Shouts out to Alex Freeman. We'll get to you.
Nice,
But
dude.
yeah, no, it's good to be here, man. It's another week, and
Heck yeah.
excited to talk some football.
Heck yeah, love it, boys. Solid. Well, let's go ahead and get right into it, fellas. Let's go ahead and get into the correct leaderboard. I was keeping up with a little bit of the points here, but I feel like I didn't do very well. So I'm actually very curious to see what the leaderboard looks like right now. So Fern, if you don't mind, my guy, give us a look here.
You see that?
Dude, it's getting way too close, bro. It's getting way too close.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's happened before, but so this week we actually all ended up getting the same exact amount of points, which was 6.
Oh, really?
All for like different things. Like you guys would have gotten a point for one of the games, but since you guys guessed the score, you didn't end up getting anything. And kind of the same thing with me. Well, I guess I wouldn't have got the points anyways because I picked the wrong winner anyways. But yeah, we all got 6 points this week. So crazy week. A lot of ties that I didn't expect. So
yeah, there were a lot of ties, which is kind of crazy. I don't think it was a lot of 0-0 ties, but definitely a lot of ties from what I saw. I think this was another week where there wasn't any 0-0 ties actually. I think the only ties really, like the lowest ones, were just 1-1s. But yeah, no 0-0 ties this weekend. So pretty sweet, man. That's pretty fun. But solid, dude. 219, 212, and 193. So we're getting pretty tight there, PZ. Obviously, you're always nipping at the heels right there, bro. But pretty crazy to see. Pretty crazy to see some of these scores. But we'll definitely get into those into the next segment with
I smell blood.
I know, dude. You're coming up way too fast, bro. With the correct performances of the week, I'm going to go ahead and get us started here. Go ahead and kick us off for the very first one on this one.
accident.
What?
Nothing. Go.
Okay. And for my correct player, I'm going to go with Mr. Joseph Paintsil of the LA Galaxy. The guy had a good game, man. He had 3 goals in this game, which is awesome to see. And primarily why I picked him as my cracked player of the week is because I believe I've had him a couple times on my pour one out, and his biggest drawback was just not being able to put goals away. And so I think a lot of times you kind of looked at him in some of these games, and he was in the right place at the right time, at least from my perspective, but he just never scored. He always just, out wide, it got blocked. He just wasn't there. And so, obviously for him to get 3 goals on this last weekend, it's great to see. Good for him. I will say a lot of those were tap-in goals, so it was kind of like hey, played it out wide, centered in the middle. Paintsel goes in there and it gets it done. But at the end of the day, it gets him goals. It gets him on the score sheet, builds the confidence of him and his teammates. So it's good to see. It's great for him. So hats off to you, Paintsel. Tough beginning of the year, but now you're definitely, you're playing a lot better. So good for you. I will give another little quick special shout out. I wanted to give a quick shout out to Dejan Joveljic because they did end up playing Sporting Kansas City. Dude, I can't believe Galaxy let this guy go. Like, I know it's the whole money reasons and everything like that, but he's been, I feel like, so special for Kansas City. He was the only one that scored in that game with LA Galaxy versus Sporting Kansas City, but he's a baller, dude. I mean, unless Kansas City pays this guy, or I don't even know what his contract looks like, but like, this guy is such a good player. I wouldn't be surprised if he went to a bigger market team or if he goes somewhere else, just because of how awesome he's been doing. He hasn't had a game where he had a 7.0 play rating lower than a 7.0 since like middle of August. So he's been balling out, dude. Had to give a little shout out to him just because he's been doing so well. And then going off to my next point, my cracked game of the week. This one was a good one, and I think it's one that nobody else would have saw coming because I wasn't even expecting this, guys. San Jose versus San Diego. Do you guys know who won? First off, do you guys know who won?
I do.
Peasy, do you know who won? Who do you think would have won?
Hey, who do I think would have won? Who should have won? San Diego. But now that way you're reacting, just tell me otherwise.
Nah, you're gonna go look it up, right?
God,
this was
bro.
Wild, bro. 1-0. 1-0 for San Jose. And I'll tell you what, dude, San Jose got away with murder on this one. Like, absolutely insane for them to get this win. They did come out early, right? So they came out early, 14th minute. They had that goal. They had that big chance, scored in the 14th minute. And then, to be honest, it was kind of San Diego's game to lose after this. So as soon as they scored this goal, San Diego just boom, boom, boom. I believe they had 19 total shots compared to San Jose's 7. And they had 4 big chances, San Diego did, compared to the 2 that San Jose had throughout this game. So I don't know if you guys have ever seen that meme of SpongeBob where he's like naked and he's kind of going like he's kind of out of breath. But that was San Jose. That was San Jose playing against San Diego.
Is that the one where he has like his hand up against the wall?
Yes.
Yeah.
So when you guys need to like find that meme, which I have in the doc, and put like a San Jose hat on it, because that was San Jose after this game, dude. It was like, this was insane. So hats off to San Diego, bro. I mean, big 3 points for them. That was absolutely huge for them to win that game, get the 3 points, stay in that playoff picture. And San Diego, I mean, you drop some points there, so that does suck, obviously, given that loss. So that was my crack game of the week. Hopefully some folks enjoyed that one, even though it wasn't the highest scoring of games. Definitely one that we none of us saw coming. Okay, and for my very last point here, my pour one out. Fern, if you wouldn't mind queuing this up, my friend. I did just want to show a little part here of my pour one out.
You ready for me to do it?
Adelson Malanda. The guy got a red card for Charlotte. Go ahead and play right here is where he gets it. Bang and bang. Okay, obviously denies somewhat of a goal scoring opportunity. You could also argue that it is a last man type of a thing, but at first he only got the yellow. But then obviously VAR steps in, all these different things kind of come into motion, and they retract the yellow and say no yellow, no era amarilla, era the butt card, la roja for Malanda. And the thing that sucks, obviously, after this one, I believe Charlotte was winning 1-0 at this point before this happened. But then as soon as they dropped down to 10 men, I believe the first goal for Montreal was in the 40th or so minute. After that, it just goes straight downhill. Everything was Montreal's way. the momentum, the possession, the opportunities, everything. And Charlotte just losing bad to a not very good Montreal team. I believe it was 4-1. Was it 4-1 or 3-1, something like that?
4-1.
Yeah, 4-1. So, letting your team kind of down on that one, Melanda. That one does suck, man. But we'll see what happens with this Charlotte team because they've dropped 2 games now after going on a history-making run for the most win streak in the MLS. So hopefully they can bounce back. But that was not a good look against a not very good Montreal team. So had to pour one out for him. It is what it is.
R.I.P.
So that's it for me. Peasy, why don't you kick us off with yours, my guy?
Échale. Kicking us off with my very own cracked. I did not have a can today.
It's all good.
Player of the week, we have Alex Freeman, Orlando's very own rookie. Shouts out to him. So as I was looking at my player for the week, I came across this MLS soccer.com article. Shouts out to you, Joseph Lowry, who wrote some thoughts down. Alex Freeman has been a rising star. So at the start of the season, Freeman was Dagur Dan Tholarsalons, I'm butchering that last name, his backup at the back right, and now he's an absolute superstar there for Orlando City. He's worked his way into being a regular there. He's been just absolutely spectacular these last few games. He rescued a point against Cincinnati at the 96th minute with a just beautiful header. Even more beautiful of a cross. I forgot who centered it over to him, but just capping a performance with 5 shots, 3 of them being on target. And it's just another just breakout moment for this rookie. The MLS has already kind of been talking about him being the youngest All-Star on this year's roster. And so it pushes his league tally to 6 goals and 2 assists from defense. So
yeah,
shouts
he's an
out
all-star
to you.
for sure, man. I believe he's also on the U.S. men's national team. He's kind of been occurring there, so he's definitely been, one to watch if you haven't been seeing him.
Absolutely. And then jumping right into my game, I'm going to highlight this game. This is the one that I did see most of the highlights. Cincinnati dominated most of the game. Orlando City, just that beautiful cross again at that 96th minute to help Orlando clinch a playoff spot. So with this result. So shouts out to you, Orlando. And again, another shout out to Alex Freeman, man. You've been an absolute freaking superstar.
Freaking superstar, dude. Goal was at what? The 90 what? The 90 like
the 6th minute there was 7 minutes in stoppage time to hit it with the 96th.
Wild. Wow. I mean, ponte las pilas. Cincinnati.
Bro, Cincy, bro. They're still hey man, every team has its day and gave up the tie. Shouts out to you, Cincy, fighting it out. But yeah, no, it was just, if you guys haven't seen that goal, go check it out. Orlando clinching their playoff spot. So sweet moment there for them. All right. And then moving on to my pour one out, my unfortunato moment of the week. Fellas, what's worse than having a team score 5 goals on you?
Having a team score 6 goals on you.
No, having a team score 5 goals on you and then you score a 6th goal on yourself, bro. That's exactly what DC United did this week, having an own goal at the 34th minute. It wasn't really something that was super embarrassing. I think I have the video pulled up here if you guys want to take a quick look at it here. Share my screen, share this moment. Here we go. Peep your eyes on this. Hey, no. Just off the body roll, hitting him with the Shakira and into the goal, bro. Shakira. But just pouring one out for you, DC United. It is unfortunate that you had 6 goals scored on you overall. Again, unfortunate with that. Pour one out for that own goal on the 34th minute. But that is all for me right now. Fern.
Dude, yeah. Rough.
Take us home.
Take us home, Fern.
But before I get to that, I was in the background. It's not perfect, but I just wanted to get
my man out here cooking.
I just wanted to get Reyes' request before I got into anything else.
Love that, dude. Thank you.
But if you guys had to guess who my crack player of the week was, who would you think it was?
I'm gonna go with Marco Reus.
Bro, what has that guy done in years?
Oh, I thought he was your favorite player.
Yeah, he is. But look at this. My boy's son.
Hijo.
Yeah, my son. Yeah, I mean, I don't think, what was it? 2 weeks ago we talked about, was it 2 weeks ago or last week we talked about Boanga. And I just wanted to bring up my boy's son because he's been performing like crazy. This past week against St. Louis, he scored a brace. And then even before that, he had scored a goal and an assist against Salt Lake, scored a hat trick against Salt Lake. And besides the San Diego game, which was in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games, he scored at least one goal or assisted. Besides the San Diego games, the only one that he didn't score, and they lost that game. So yeah, he's just been on fire. He's been scoring like he's in his prime Premier League days again for Spurs, So they're looking pretty scary. I'm not going to lie. It was RSL the first 2 games in St. Louis. So, take that with what you want. Grain of salt, grain of sugar, whatever you want. Not the best teams around, but yeah, definitely to be scoring like that is still pretty crazy. If I were to say so myself, I wouldn't be able to do it. So shout out to Hugh Ming Son.
He had the same amount of goals as you on Tuesday.
Well, Tuesday I scored 2 and Thursday I scored 2, so call me son. Call me son. And yeah, for me, my cracked game of the week, for some reason I don't remember what game I picked for myself, which is actually Reyes' pour one out, is now that I'm taking a look at it, was actually the Philly game against, who did they play? Against that trash team, DC United. So basically, obviously, highest scoring game of the week, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And not only was it the highest scoring game, this game, not necessarily, but pretty much solidifies Philly getting the, what do they call it? The shield, supporter shield.
Yeah.
Yeah, with them scoring 6 points, it puts them 5 goals ahead of Inter Miami. Inter Miami could still technically get the supporter shield. The draw that they had against Toronto kind of ruined their chances a little bit of trying to get that supporter shield 2 years in a row. So Philly's looking very good at winning that because all the other teams seem to be dropping points. Behind them is FC Cincinnati, which we just talked about, drew against Orlando. So yeah. So that's why it was my crack game of the week, because it pretty much is, unless they mess up, guaranteeing them that they will be the supporter shield winners this year. So shout out to Philly. They started off the year strong, kind of tapered off a bit, and then kind of went back up. So good year for them. And I just wanted to pour one out for our friends out in the energy drink department, the New York Red Bulls. I don't know if you guys have any idea of what the Eastern Conference is looking like, but every team has qualified and every team has been eliminated besides 2. And that is the New York Red Bulls and the Chicago Fire. And I just wanted to pour one out because they lost to their in-city rivals, which puts them, let me see the points, at 43 points behind Chicago with 48 points. Chicago has 2 games to play. If they win both the games, they're out. It's over. If they lose one of the games, New York Red Bulls has a chance by winning their next 2 games to make it into the playoffs, which, like we've talked about, they haven't missed it for a while. Unfortunately for for New York Red Bulls, they have to play Cincinnati and Columbus next, which are not easy teams. And what makes it better for them is the fact that Chicago has to play Miami next and then New England. So they also don't have the easiest schedule in these last 2 games, but Chicago could clinch their playoff spot this week if the Red Bulls mess up. And if they don't, it's going to come down to the very last day to see how it goes. But I'm just kind of pouring one out in advance for our fellows out in New York, just because they lost to their in-state rivals, and it's kind of messing them up now because the way it's been looking, they're pretty much out of the playoffs. Never say never. I woke up once to watch Dortmund win the title because I believe they were going to win the title. They're playing the worst team in the league. I've mentioned this multiple times. It still hurts. Worst team in the league, guys. Worst, like literally last on the table. And yeah, they lost. Well, they didn't lose. They tied, but they lost.
Yeah, they lost.
Losers.
Yeah. Dang, dude. I know that's tough. That's pretty rough. And
hold on.
Go ahead. I know you gotta like put like a little thing on there, like crack open the can. Dang man, that's some pretty crazy stuff right there. A lot of situations going on, in the MLS right now to get into the playoffs, but some solid performances from everybody. Love to kind of hear those. I do want to get kind of keep this momentum and roll into like the playoff picture right now, heading into our headlines. So without kind of losing some of that steam, I did want to pull this up really quickly. So that way we can take a look at it, because you did mention Chicago Fire and New York Red Bulls, Fern. From my understanding, and this is kind of what this is from the MLS, so I'm just going to share this really quick here. But from what it says right here, it says Chicago Fire can clinch their playoff spot after visiting once they visit Inter Miami tomorrow. So if Chicago Fire will clinch a berth in the 2025 playoffs if they can beat Miami tomorrow, which will be tough because they're going to play in Chase Stadium. They're going to play in Florida. But obviously, if that does happen, if Chicago does end up beating Miami, then New York is eliminated from the playoffs and Chicago goes through. And it's kind of wild because at that point, the Eastern Conference is set, from my understanding. So kind of nice to see that. I mean, I feel like we have a somewhat of a good chunk of games left. Maybe not so many now, but I mean, basically the Eastern Conference can be done tomorrow. So with that being said, I know we're going to get into picks and everything later. This game is early. This game is literally tomorrow on Tuesday. How do you guys see this? Do you think Miami stops Chicago from getting in, or does Chicago just go ball to the wall and just do what they got to do and get it done in Florida?
We are all Chicago.
There you go. So you like Chicago, huh?
No, I just want to see it happen. I just love to see them try and pull it off against Miami, just with so much on the line. But again, is it even worth it to Miami for them to try? I don't know. But at the end of the day,
Well, I think Miami is in the running still, technically, I think mathematically, for the supporter shield.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, do they care for that? I don't know. They obviously are already in the playoff picture, but if they, win these kind of fill-in games that they have to do because of like, them performing in other tournaments, like, do they go hard in the rest of these games to at least get the supporter shield? So I would say yes. They're gonna try.
Trying to do the math in my head real quick. So that's 6, that's 9, 60, 72 points if Philly wins their next, and 12 points for Miami. That's 60. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to do math off the top of my head like that.
I think it's close. I mean,
Yeah,
goal
it's close.
differential.
If Philly wins their next, like the rest of their games, then it's over. Like there's no chance.
Right.
So they need Philly to mess up. In my opinion, in my uneducated opinion, I think personally, maybe if you want to like play these next couple games, like to guarantee, I mean they're already in the playoffs, so it doesn't matter. But if you want to try and win the Supporter Shield, which I don't think it's super important for Miami too. They already broke the record last year. You saw how that went for them. I think it's more important to rest your players going into the playoffs, knowing you're already in. If you wanted to, you could play your good team, your best team against Chicago, because you just got New England and Atlanta United. Kind of rest them in those two games and then come back against Nashville right before the playoffs, just to get warmed up a bit. But I personally don't see the point in it. I mean, if you'll start your players this week. Philadelphia wins their game this week, then it's over. So then after that, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, I mean, I see why not try right now, knowing there's a chance. If after this week there's no more chance, then just bench your players until, like I said, Nashville.
Yeah, I definitely think Chicago's going to go all out. They're going to do what they got to do to clinch, to get into the playoffs for sure. It's always that question of, okay, who's going to be in the number one slot come the playoffs, right? Because obviously whoever gets first place is going to have to play the winner of that wild card game, which at this point, if it were to start today, it would be Chicago and Columbus going at it. And then they would have to play one of those two, which Chicago, I mean, they kind of hit or miss. They can kind of have a really good game, maybe not. And then Columbus, I mean, they've been okay. I wouldn't say they've been amazing, but like They're definitely been a competitive team, but like, would you rather play one of those guys, or do you fall down to second and play either Nashville or Charlotte? You know what I mean? Kind of depending on where they end up. Either way, the Eastern Conference is nuts. So I think whatever happens is going to be kind of insane. Looking at like kind of the whole the picture, the playoff picture holistically, there was a pretty good article here from Sports Illustrated. Obviously, Philadelphia Union in first place, 4 games remaining. They're in first in the Eastern Conference. Cincinnati right behind them with 55. Charlotte in third with 53. Actually, this might be a little bit dated because I think New York is in third. Miami is in fourth, and then Charlotte is in fifth. So this is a little bit off. When was this made? I had this. Let me see if I can find something different.
That was 10 points ago because it said.
Yeah, let's do MLS playoff picture. And let's try to do, let me see if, does the MLS have something a little bit better? Why is that one way off? It says 10 hours ago. Oh, okay, maybe I clicked the wrong one. Okay, here we go. This is the one I wanted to share.
My gosh.
Here we go. We figured
Did that
it
man
out.
just share some inappropriate pictures?
Where?
Nothing.
Me?
Yeah, I just had to run and let my dog out, and I was like, you're freaking out. I was like, what? This man just shared some nudes on the screen,
Oh, no.
and I missed it.
So here's more accurate. Here we go. So Philadelphia is in first, Cincy in second, New York in third, Inter Miami in fourth, and then these all have clinched. So everybody with the star have clinched. So obviously the first place is going to play the wild card. And at this point, like if it were to start today, again, you're doing Columbus versus Chicago if Chicago wins tomorrow. So technically, yeah, I think if Miami loses tomorrow, they would still stay in fourth, and they could potentially like stay here. Chicago gets in. Playoffs are kind of somewhat set at this point, given that like nothing really happens in terms of like placing because these could still move around. But this is what the playoff picture would look like in the Eastern Conference, right? Because everybody's already out below these guys, which is kind of nuts. And then in the Western Conference, we got San Diego, Vancouver, Minnesota, LAFC, and Seattle that have clinched. The rest have not, but this is what the playoff picture would look like if it were to happen today. So, like I mentioned in my game of the week, San Jose sneaking in there right now on the 9th with the 9th spot, right? But yeah, Colorado's still up there, Portland's still up there. But kind of nipping at the heels, we got Dallas and Real Salt Lake, which I'm curious on your guys' thoughts, man. Salt Lake obviously beating Austin this last week, which was pretty cool to see. Did you guys catch that at all? I'm curious. No?
I didn't watch the game, but I did see that they won 4-1.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously that's going to help them out a lot in this playoff picture. They're currently 11th now, with FC Dallas being 1 point ahead of them and San Jose. So we'll see how it goes. Unfortunately for them, San Jose did beat San Diego, which shout out to those guys. But they have Vancouver and Austin next. San Jose does, sorry. So we'll see how it goes. These next few games are going to be pretty crazy. They have Seattle Sounders, RSL does, and then they have St. Louis, and then
Colorado first. I believe they play Colorado, no?
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right. They have 3 games. They play Colorado, then Sounders. You're right.
Yeah.
So these games aren't going to be super easy for them. Who was the other team? FC Dallas. They also have some games. They have the LA Galaxy twice and Vancouver. So they have a pretty decent chance, unless LA Galaxy keeps playing like they've been playing. I feel like they have a pretty decent chance to try and get in. Hopefully they don't end up like RSL versus LAFC when they had those back-to-back games and just lose both of them. But RSL needs to win these last 3 games to get in pretty much. If they don't win these 3, if they lose one, they're pretty much out. Unless the other 2 lose too as well, obviously.
Yeah.
But
yeah, the stars kind of aligned for RSL. The reason why I brought them up, right? Because they obviously got the win. Dallas got a draw. San Jose won out of nowhere. And then Colorado ties, Portland ties, and then Austin loses, Seattle ties. So basically a lot of these teams that are above them, it kind of was a perfect storm for them because they did get the 3 points and they ended up winning. But I will say this, and this is the reason I'm bringing it up. Real Salt Lake, if they if they somehow make it into the playoffs, I think they might be able to be very competitive with anybody, depending on if they play like LAFC or like San Diego. But
Bro,
like,
if
I
they
think they
make
could
it,
be like a dark horse,
they'll have to win the what
the
is it,
wild
the
card.
wild card, and
Yeah,
they'd have to play San Diego. Oh no,
yeah, I know.
Vancouver actually.
Right. Well, it depends on who gets first, right? But like, it could be San Diego, it could be Vancouver, depending. But the reason I bring it up too is, obviously they made a lot of moves, right? They made a lot of moves, and their offense is like, I feel like I saw some glimpses of like it just being very good and kind of clicking against Austin. And I was like, ooh, if they figure this out, if they get good in the next few weeks, and they get some wins and they start getting into the playoffs, and it's like, the only thing that this team doesn't have right now is a very strong defense, which arguably could be okay sometimes just given the day. But I think if they figure this out, dude, watch out, bro. Like, they don't look too bad. What's his name on the very top that they just barely bought?
Uh,
Unji, an athlete, brother. He is really good. So if they can figure it out with him and like make sure that Luna kind of controls the midfield, and somehow, some way, the defense kind of just figures it out, like, watch out, dude. This team's a little bit better than y'all think. So I'll be interested to see these next few games for sure. By the way, they do play Colorado next, which is a rivalry game.
so we didn't talk about this. Do you know what happened to Quinn Sullivan? I know this is a little bit off topic, but the
Uh,
FC or the
for
Philly Union,
Philly. Uh huh.
yeah, you know what happened to him?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, he tore his ACL this past Saturday.
Oh,
So that's
no
a
way.
big blow. Yeah, it's a big blow to them. But
Oof.
I looked through some stuff. I was looking through some news to make sure we don't miss anything. Sometimes we miss stuff while it's happening. And he just tweeted a couple hours ago that he
Oof.
unfortunately tore his ACL. So that's going to hurt Philly going into the playoffs. But just thought I'd point
Yeah.
it out real quick.
For sure, that does suck. That's obviously a big blow for them, for sure. But we'll see what happens with Philly. I think Philly's still kind of that juggernaut in the league, so I think they'll be strong regardless. But again, it is a very hard blow for them, for sure. That does suck. But yeah, I think the Western Conference playoff picture is going to be very interesting. It's looking more and more interesting every single day. But the RSL versus Colorado game, I believe it's here, fellas. It's going to be in Salt Lake on the 4th. So if you get a chance to go out to this game, man, gotta go check it out.
I was in town for the who did they play, the Austin FC game, and I was this close to going but decided not to. So maybe I should have gone because I haven't seen RSL win a game. No, I did. I watched them beat the LA Galaxy. Actually, that's a lie.
Oh, nice.
But yeah,
There you go. Nice. Yeah, that'll be a good one to go watch. And then, yeah, we'll see what happens with Dallas. We'll see what happens with San Jose because, yeah, San Jose's got some pretty tough games there. But at this point, I think, yeah, the Western Conference is a little bit up in the air. I don't know. What do you guys prefer? I mean, I guess the question here is, do you guys think an Eastern Conference team will win or a Western Conference team could sneak and win this? That's my question.
this is. I feel like I don't know because I mean I guess technically Philly's the best team in the league right now because they're number one in the Supporter Shield. But I feel if I were to think of an Eastern Conference team to win, I would probably say either Miami or Philly would be my top two options, and then I guess Cincinnati's up there too. Maybe those three. And then if it were to be a Western team, Los Angeles, Vancouver, San Diego, I feel like it's going to be an Eastern Conference team just because of how we've talked about how competitive it's been. Although the Eastern Conference does have everybody pretty much in and the Western Conference doesn't, I still feel like the Eastern Conference has been more competitive. And with
Yeah.
it being that way, I feel like they've been in more intense games. Like if you when you look at the Eastern Conference games and you look at the Western Conference games, I feel like most of the time there's more blowouts on the Western Conference side.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think an Eastern Conference team is going to win, and I think it's going to be a team with pink jerseys.
What do you
Boo.
think, Pete?
Give me Cincinnati if it's an Eastern Conference team. If not, give me LAFC just pulling off some magic with Sun on that team. I could see them pulling off a very fun playoff run.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like that guess too. LAFC definitely has that fight. I think they can definitely get it done in the Western Conference if it aligns that way. I think, and you know what? To be honest, like the way that I know Fern is a big Messi fan, big Miami fan right now, but I don't know why. But Miami just kind of gives off those vibes of watch out, bro. We're gonna make you guys all hate us because we're too good and we're just that good and then we're that team and we're gonna win this dang cup. I can
And we
see it
might bite you in
happening.
the process.
Yeah, we might bite you and spit on you in the process, dude. You never know.
If they don't win, I'm gonna start running and bust a Tyreek Hill.
And PZ has to tackle you to do
Yeah,
it.
the Lopez has to tackle me. You got to be the one to do it, Lopez.
Dude, that'd be awful. That'd be terrible. But yeah, I don't know. I think Miami does have that chance. I mean, if Miami doesn't win it, then Philly wins it. But to be honest, like the rest of the Eastern Conference, yes, they're tough, but like it'll be interesting to see how they play in the playoffs, like how they go into that do or die moments. So I don't know.
Hold on, let me double check something. Okay, so my thing for Miami, I just wanted to make sure you didn't have anything on the dock, and I was getting to it too early, but I was just gonna say the thing with Miami, I don't know if you've heard Lopez, but they have a little bit of extra motivation to win the MLS Cup this year, and I feel like that's gonna play a little bit on their confidence going into the playoffs. You know, they're gonna be like, we have to win this because of Busquets. You know, this is going to be his last season. I don't know if you heard Lopez, but he has officially announced that at the end of this season, he will be retiring from soccer. So I just feel like sometimes when you have something like that in your team, it just gives the players like a bit of more motivation or maybe even some more nerves going into it because you're like, okay, we got to play well so we can give this guy a going away party, you know, like have him send him off with a nice trophy or whatever. So I don't know, maybe that's one of the things that has me feeling like Inter Miami can do it, and they've been playing pretty good soccer. There was those like mid-year games where I was wanting Mascherano to be fired, and they were playing bad. They were losing to Orlando all the time. And, you know, I feel like they've been playing well. They haven't been winning crazily. I believe they won 4-0 against New York City. They tied against Toronto. But I just feel like they've been playing more as a team.
Right.
I don't know how to explain it. I feel like around that time, DePaul had just joined. They're having a lot of movements going on. Maybe they just needed a bit of adjusting. So I feel like they're coming into a team and playing well. So that's my thing. And I'm also sad about Busquets. Shout out to my boy.
Yeah, shout out to him, man. If you don't know him, you got to know him. You got to watch. Go to YouTube and just look up Busquets, and I'm sure you can find some video that kind of shows all his greatest moments for sure. But yeah, that's a good point, man. We'll see. We'll see if Miami gets it done. I think it's definitely a good possibility. But, you know, all the best to all the teams. Just make it interesting. Make it fun. Make it so everybody wants to watch, right? Solid stuff. We'll go ahead and go to the next little topic here that I wanted to discuss really quickly. We did discuss what's called the Hudson River rivalry, and that rivalry had a very special guest. Lopez, do you happen to know who Jurgen Klopp is? Does that name ring a bell whatsoever?
Of course, bro. It's Jurgen Klopp.
¿Quién es?
The man who
Who is
Klopp's
it?
cheeks. The man who
Correct.
he played soccer, I assume.
I think he did, yeah.
And that's all. I don't know, bro. That's as far as my guesses are going to take me.
Nice. Yeah, I believe he did play, but he's probably more known for his coaching ability and when he's been coaching at Liverpool and Borussia Dortmund, and honestly just being a really, really good coach and winning lots and lots of trophies for these teams. I'm going to go ahead and share this really quickly, and I'm sure Fern knows this guy quite well because he had a very good run. He had a very good run over there at
He
Borussia.
took Dortmund all the way to the Champions League final. And you know what the worst part of it all is? Bayern beats them in literally everything. And the one time that they go to the final, probably one of the best years they've ever had as a team. The team that they have to play in the Champions League final is freaking Bayern.
Yeah.
And Arjen Robin has ruined my life twice already against Dortmund and against Mexico.
Yeah, I know. I think, we don't have to talk about Robin, but yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow for sure, my friend. That does suck. But this is him, PZ, just so you're aware. But now he has I don't believe he's doing any direct coaching at this point. But from my understanding, he's the director of sports or something like that. Director of
Global soccer.
Yeah. He's the head of global soccer for Red Bull, which I'm pretty sure he's taking a nice paycheck every week, every other week, whenever he gets paid. But basically, he was at the game with the New York Red Bulls against New York City FC, and for him to say, hey, what's your opinion on the MLS? And then obviously he gives a quick praise from what he saw with the MLS and its potential. He said, I'm 100% sure that in 5 years' time, we will speak completely different. He says, I'm really sure it will grow and grow and grow. So obviously he has a lot of, positive things to say. I think too, New York City definitely has something very special going over there, with some of the, the clubs that they have. And then obviously kind of the new stadiums that they're building for, New York City FC. So it's definitely like a big soccer city, I would say. But kind of curious on your guys' thoughts. I know we've discussed this a lot on like, hey, what is your kind of outlook on the MLS and kind of what's been going on? Is it something that's going to be a top league in the future? But curious on what you guys think on like his thoughts and kind of what he's been saying around the league, and if you agree or disagree.
He is making $10 to $12 million a year in that position.
Nice.
And I can see, I do believe the MLS can be a top team. Like they're in the US, the US has a lot of resources, a lot of money, so they can, if they want to, keep putting money into the game. I can see it becoming a big league. I don't know if I would put it up with like La Liga or the Premier League. I feel like those are the top two teams, whenever you think of the Champions League, it's one a team from either of those leagues that is winning it. So yeah, I feel like, when did the MLS start? 96?
Yeah, I believe so.
96, what is that? 20 years now? 30 years? 30 years is not a lot of time. Like, if you really think about it, I'm 30 years old. I feel like I haven't done much. So it's just going to keep growing from here. And as long as everything goes how it's going now, I can see it growing. There's a lot of young talent being taken from here, more than usual. Who was the guy for Charlotte? I can't remember his name. He just went Alouse. He just went to that Spanish team, Villarreal, I believe.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talent coming out here. I'll kind of speak on a couple of them once we get to the Club World or the U20 World Cup. But yeah, there's definitely a bright future, like Jurgen Klopp says. The future, though, has to come from these teams keeping that young talent. You don't want to be a development league. You don't want to be a league that creates young talent and sends them off, because you won't be a big league that way. Think of like Barcelona. They are a development team and they keep their players in their league to play. So you got to kind of see it that way.
We must dismantle the NFL. Somebody go get their PhD, study CTE some more, come up with some very conclusive evidence that even playing football, even at a very young age, can cause severe CTE for the rest of your life and severely deform your child. And then all this talent that would have played in the NFL can now play in the MLS. And then we don't have to worry about talent leaving because we'll have surplus of talents.
Also, when they're injured, don't give them any Tylenol.
Dude, here's the thing. I know we're making jokes on all this. I will say this. I mean, the NFL is never going to go away. 100%. Like, it's just never going to go away. But I've always been curious on that note that you made around, if people can't get into like the NFL, like, would they go play soccer? Or if there wasn't an NFL, would they play soccer? Like, that's always been something that's kind of curious. I feel like people have been saying that, and they've said like, oh, well, what if a LeBron James? What if Kyrie Irving? What if Tyreek Hill? What if Tyreek Hill? What if all these people, came and they played soccer instead of like football or the NBA or even baseball, you know what I mean? Or hockey, whatever it may be. I don't know. I'm curious. I wonder if that that would actually make it like elite. You know what I mean?
You know how much I've heard all growing up, bro, how many of these, I was a football player in high school, right? How many of these football kids would say like, if I did soccer, like I'd kill it and I'd like demolish it and stuff like that. And it's just like, then prove it. I want to see you athletes who maybe don't make it to the NFL, who don't maybe make it to college ball, go try and be an athlete in somewhere else. You can still make millions of dollars. Like, I don't know. Like, I really don't know what it is, bro. Like, but it feels like there is. I mean, that's a huge part of it.
I think it's the money.
That's
a
huge part of it.
Yeah. To be honest, I think it's the biggest. Well, okay, I'll say it's two things. I think because you made a good point, right, Fern? You said, okay, in say Barcelona and a couple other teams we can mention, whatever XYZ, they develop their players and then they keep them, right? I think it's that. I think it's the developmental piece, number one, and then number two, it's the money, because obviously you need to develop and you need to have them, grow into some sort of a system, or at least, develop a good foundation of fundamentals of soccer. But then also when they get to that point to where they're at the professional level and, adults, like Brandon Aubrey, he left because the guy was obviously not having any playing time. Plus, he was making what did we find out? He's making like 47, 57 something K or 70K in the
Mhm.
USL. And then he
Yeah.
goes to the Cowboys. The guy's making like 17 million. Like, dude, obviously he's gonna go kick for the Cowboys. Like, that's a no brainer,
Yeah, and then honestly, I feel like there's like a specific body type for everything, Football players, there's different positions, there's different like obviously if you're like on the line, offensive line, defensive line, you're a big man, A wide receiver, I feel like if there were to be like either like a wide receiver, running back type player would more likely be able to transition to soccer, but somebody like you mentioned LeBron James, that guy is way too tall, way too big to I feel be playing on the outfield. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I feel like even when I see like the soccer players like just play, it just looks so easy. You know what I'm saying? Like it just looks like they're not even struggling. But then
Right.
I'm like I go play on Tuesdays and then I try and dribble past six people like Messi does and I can't even get past the first one. I mean, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just bad. But yeah, there's a lot of skill for everything you do, and
Right.
to think that you can just switch over and you
Yeah,
you,
it's
you
tough.
have to be doing it from a young age. Obviously, Brandon Aubrey, soccer to kicker in the NFL, like that's probably like the best transition you could make.
Right.
Obviously, it'll take some time and whatnot, but at least the soccer player has proven that he can play in the NFL. Now we just need a vice versa, so they can be like, you know what? There you go.
Yeah, that's true. And honestly, I would love to see it more because I think one of the biggest things is to kind of what turns people off maybe into soccer is not just like the scoring and like people always like, oh, 0-0, da, 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 da. But one of the things that I kind of always think about too is like the physicality in soccer, right? Like, yes, it's a contact sport. Yes, if you play, I think a lot of people understand like there's a lot more contact in this than you would think, than what you kind of see. But I can't tell you how bad I hate when I see, you know, teams in the World Cup and the Champions League and these top five elite, leagues, and just soccer almost really anywhere in the top level, and they get hit and it's like, oh, agonizing pain, roll on the floor. It's made fun of so much and I hate it, dude. I hate it so bad, where it's like, bring physicality back to this dang sport, bro. Like, this is a joke. Like, for somebody to really get hurt like that and like just roll around and then just pop back up once they get the foul, that's a joke, bro. I don't think people like it here. I don't think people like it anywhere, to be honest. But that frustrates me, and I hope, with it growing here in the States, I hope it brings that physicality back to this sport.
If you guys had, like, I say this time and time again, watching women's soccer sometimes is a lot more fun because there is a lot less flopping that goes on in women's
Mm-hmm.
soccer, which has been, I don't know. I do enjoy it. I love it when you can get physical. You can just kind of like throw down and then like even if you like fall to the ground and get back up and keep after the ball, like it's just so badass to me.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I get it. It's part of the strategy. It's part of the game. You're trying to draw the foul. It's just like basketball, right? You're trying to get the foul. You're trying to like make overreact and get the ref to be like, yeah, you know what, we're gonna call that. But come
I hate
on,
it though. It's just like
come
any
on.
other. It's like the NFL now, where they're like, I mean, you literally can't hit the quarterback whatsoever. You can't, you can't even hit the people. You can't even block a field goal. You can't block a punt. Like, it's ridiculous. And I feel like that's just kind of happening with everything. But like in soccer, like there's so many other leagues. Like, I feel like in Liga MX and maybe even the USL, or even in college, like it's definitely a lot more physical. But once you kind of get to these top leagues and these other like global leagues, like it's just soft. It's so soft. It's just a joke, to be honest. But that's just my opinion. It's just how I feel about it, and I just hope it gets a little more physical, and that's what'll grow it, in my opinion.
But when people start biting, oh, then it's a problem, right?
Well, within reason, my guy. Anyways, we'll go ahead and get on the next little topic here. We'll go quick on these two. We do have two cup games this week, both on Wednesday. So we have what's called the Campeones Cup and the U.S. Open Cup final. So Campeones Cup, I know we've already discussed it quite a bit, and I believe a few episodes ago, so we won't go too much into it. But it will be LA Galaxy versus Toluca, which if you've been keeping up with both of these teams, Galaxy clearly has been doing much better than what they were doing at the beginning of the year. Obviously, at the end of the day, it's kind of a wrap for them this season for the MLS, but nonetheless, they've been putting up points, they've been scoring, they've been winning games. And then if you're looking at Toluca, I mean, people are saying they could repeat for this season. So it could be another one of those where they have another amazing year, but nonetheless, you're having two top teams going for this cup. What do you guys think? Do you guys think the MLS takes it with Galaxy, or does Toluca just say we're the champs here, Liga MX, we're taking the bacon here? How do you see this game? I think Fern just dropped. So PZ, what do you think?
No, bro. I've been an LAFC fanboy recently, man. I think Toluca has
Galaxy is playing.
Sorry, Galaxy? Was it?
Yep.
Bro, no cierto. Sorry.
Yeah, LA Galaxy.
My bad.
You're good.
No, man. If it's in that case, I don't know what game I was looking at, but with it being LA Galaxy, fuck that. I just echoed hard.
What did I miss?
He just came back. Go for
Okay,
it.
sorry. I just echoed real hard in my own headphones. We're gonna have to like figure this out. But no, with LA Galaxy, no, give me Toluca. That's all I got.
Okay. Yeah. I was just curious on what your thoughts were, man, with the Campeones Cup, LA Galaxy versus Toluca. We've already discussed it. But what do you think? Like, do you think Toluca just takes it, gives that crown to Liga MX, or can the Galaxy surprise some people and give it to the MLS?
Do we know where the game is? Is it in LA?
California.
Yeah, Dignity. With it being a home game, I feel like the LA Galaxy has a pretty good chance at winning, although Toluca is on a 5-game winning streak.
Dominant, man. Yeah, I was just pulling them up right now.
But also, again, we've mentioned this before. Anytime a Liga MX team plays in the States, is it really a home game unless it's in like Columbus?
I mean, I would say the LA Galaxy has a very strong support system out in LA. If I'm being honest, I knew who Toluca was. I didn't know they were good until like these last couple years. So, yeah.
Dude, I knew back in the senior days.
Well, I know back in the day too. They just recently became good again.
Right.
But
Right. Yeah.
I do think Toluca's gonna. I wouldn't be surprised if the LA Galaxy wins it. But yeah, I think Toluca should have a pretty easy game, even though it's in LA.
Yeah, I think Toluca definitely looks pretty strong on this one. We'll see, obviously, what happens. We're obviously always hoping for an MLS win here, but yeah, Toluca just looks really good, especially with Alexis Vega just tearing it up over there for sure. So we'll see what happens, man. Should be an interesting game.
Toluca also got the elevation, bro. They're going to be coming down. Going to be superheroes on that field.
That is true. Okay, sick. And then into the next one really quickly, we do have another game with the U.S. Open Cup final. Let me just double check, make sure I get the teams right here. So we do have Austin FC taking on Nashville, which we're very familiar with these two teams. I think there's one that maybe stands out a little bit more than the other. But before this game, we didn't even, I don't think you were on the pod this one, PZ, but me and Fern didn't even guess that Austin and Nashville were going to make it because Nashville beat Philly and then Austin beat Minnesota. So, kind of wild. We were not anticipating this as a final, but nonetheless, this is what we got. So what do you guys see on this one? Two top teams, obviously, here. But, again, it's a final. Could go any other way. It's going to be in Texas. So what do you guys think here?
Nashville has not been looking great in the league. They did beat Philly, that's the US Open Cup. They haven't been looking the best. They did beat the Houston Dynamo this past Saturday. So could they go in and beat another Texas team? I don't know. Mukhtar is good. Surridge is good. If they can play like they normally do, they should easily win this game, in my opinion. Austin also has a good chance. I feel like they've been decently good. They're pretty much, I believe they're guaranteed a playoff spot now, right? Or were they one of the teams that wasn't?
Austin, I don't think they're completely in.
Yeah, but they've been playing all right. They did just get demolished by RSL, which is not the best look ever, but they have beat teams like the Sounders in the past, so they have a decent chance. I believe, in my opinion, Nashville is the favorite, and I feel like they're going to win, but I don't know.
Who knows, right? What do you think, PZ?
Yeah, I've been with Nashville on that one. Similar points to Fern.
Yeah, I agree. I think Nashville definitely has this one. Surridge, obviously, being a top goal scorer right now. But again, maybe this home crowd comes out, dude. That Q2, we mentioned this before. That Q2 stadium, they go green. They bleed green over there, dude. La Verde. So maybe that kind of takes into account and kind of plays into effect in this game. Who knows? I'm thinking Nashville will win too, but again, it's a final. At the end of the day, it's 0-0. Anybody's game. So we'll see what happens.
Will Matthew
But yeah.
McConaughey be there?
Probably. I'm sure
They're winning. They're winning.
Nice. Sweet. So those are some cool games that are happening this week. But we're gonna go ahead and get into the last little segments here, talking about the World Cup, the FIFA World Cup. To kick us off, PZ, why don't you kind of walk us through what you've been thinking, what you've been seeing, and kind of what you wanted to bring up for today on the World Cup?
Yes, sir. Keeping it short and sweet here. If you want some specific FIFA World Cup takes, follow El Travel Football Fan. He has a lot of FIFA updates here on TikTok, and I think he's also on Instagram, so go and check out his stuff. So just getting into the first phase of ticket sales, though, you may remember in the pod, we covered a few, like 2 pods ago. The first window was opening. That window ran from September 10th to the 19th. Did you boys submit your interest? Did you guys make it in?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Did you win your tickets yet?
Yeah, I just checked, bro. On October 9th at 11 a.m., I can buy tickets.
Dude, you got it. You
I'm just
got
kidding.
it. No!
I'm just kidding.
Oh,
I'm just
bro,
kidding.
you was about to get so hyped for you, bro. I was about to get so hyped for you. I was like gonna be like, bro,
I'm
because like
sorry.
honestly, you could have gotten an email starting today. So like for
That's what I went to go check.
yanking my freaking balls. Here, freaking, you could get an email any point from here until October 1st, I believe.
Yeah, that's what it says
If
here.
you get an email before October 1st, you will get an email with a time slot and a date to when you can buy those tickets. It's not guaranteed that tickets will be available. So let's say a whole bunch of people got the email before you did or got their time slot before you did, you will only be available to what's open to you.
Mm-hmm.
Just to give you guys a little taste of what the demand has been so far for these tickets, there has been approximately 4.5 million applications that were submitted worldwide during that 10-day period. So expect some competition there. And then just a reminder for everyone out there, FIFA is going to be using some dynamic pricing. Group stage seats will start at $60 and can also reach upwards of $6,730 for the final. There will be approximately 1 million tickets available this first phase. So with all of that to consider, what do you guys do next? Just make sure if you missed out on this first phase, create your FIFA ID and verify your account. You already missed this first phase draw, so just look out for the next phases here happening over October. Over this next couple months. And then also just be on the lookout for scammers. There's going to be a lot of people looking out there to scam you. If you get an email, make sure it's from the FIFA.com website. And then very lastly, if you do want to buy tickets in the aftermarket, if you did not unfortunately win any tickets on this first phase, I think FIFA said that they're going to be opening their official resale platform sometime in October 2025. So be on the lookout for that. That is all for me.
What are you gonna say, Vern?
Nothing.
Oh, nice. Well, I'm definitely waiting for that email, dude. I'm hyped. I thought you definitely got it too. I was like, oh, dude, heck,
you were so convincing, bro. I was like, dang, that is too specific. That was.
I didn't believe it for a second,
Bro, that was a good prank right there, guys. I gotcha. I got myself too.
I was about to say, bro, you got 4 tickets to buy, bro. We got 3 people here. T can come.
All right.
I already told you guys, I'm scalping, dude. They better not give me no tickets because I'm scalping them.
And you watch this. You're gonna get the opportunity to buy a game, and it's gonna be the messy game, and you're gonna be like, "Why did I scalp?" Watch.
No, I don't care, bro. Messi's not. I already talked to him. I was talking to him over the weekend. He said he's not playing the World Cup, so
She hasn't confirmed it, brother. Just relax.
he saw all the times I made him my crack player, and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna hit this guy up.
Whatever, dude. Solid stuff, man. We do have one more little take on the World Cup that Fern wants to bring up. Fern, why don't you let us know your little hot take for the World Cup?
Well, hot take. I'm just kidding. Okay, guys. I don't know if you know this or not, but there are some children playing soccer right now. There is the U20 World Cup currently happening. And
U20?
U20, I mean, bro, that could be anywhere from 20 down.
Children,
Children's
bro.
like
10 years old, brother. Like 20.
Nuh-uh.
You can vote. You can like almost drink.
Isn't Lamine Yamal like 10 years old?
No, he's only
Yeah,
he's like
22.
19. He's 19, I believe now. If
He's a
you
child.
never mind, I won't say that. I'll keep my words to myself. So yeah, the U20 World Cup is currently happening right now. It is hosted in Chile. And I mean, I honestly didn't know it was going on until yesterday, where I saw something about the Mexico scoring in the 86th minute against Brazil and bringing the game to a 2-2 draw. But I mean, if you're wanting to watch some of these upcoming stars, especially with us being MLS podcast, you probably want to watch some of the USA U20 going on. And currently, they won their game. What is this today?
Whoa.
Was this today or was it yesterday?
That
Yeah, it was today.
Yeah.
9-1. And there's a special person there that actually scored a hat trick. I don't know if you can see who it is, Reyes.
I can
It
see. Yeah.
is ex Inter Miami player Benjamin Kramaski actually scored a hat trick, which he just recently had his move to another team. I can't think of it. I can't keep track of it. Palmara in the Serie A, I believe, maybe.
Mhm.
I don't know if they're in the Serie A anymore or not. As well as Gozo making his debut. Is it his debut? For the men's national team? Might be for the World Cup.
Team, then yes.
Yeah, he was on the team.
Yeah.
He started. He was subbed off. He didn't do too much, but yeah. So yeah, the World Cup, the U20 World Cup is going on. If you want a little taste of what's going to be happening here next year, I feel like this is a great opportunity not only to see these young players that are developing and coming into their own, but it's a good way for you to see what the future of the U.S. men's national team as well as the Mexican national team, with Gilberto Mora also playing in this tournament. It'll be interesting to see how it goes. And I just had a quick trivia for you. Do you guys know who the current World Cup winners are? The U20?
I think so. I think I know. I'll let PZ guess first, though.
Spain.
No.
England.
Mexico.
Uruguay. No, it was Uruguay.
Uruguay?
Yeah, Uruguay. You know what, bro? Mexico's never won the U20s. It might be the U21s because there's
one that they've won.
Different ones, yeah. But do you guys know who the most winningest team for the U20 World Cup is? Nope.
The U.S.
Nope. It is.
Is it in Europe?
No.
CONMEBOL?
Yeah.
Argentina.
Yep. There you go. But
on
yeah.
to the next comment.
No, but yeah, this like I said, if you guys want to watch some interesting games, prepare yourself for the World Cup. The U20 will be a great tournament for you guys to watch. These games are all at a decent time. They're either 2 p.m. or 5 p.m. So, you got a lunch break at 2, watch the first half. You get home at 5, watch the full games.
There you go. Love it, dude. Love that. Yeah. Best of luck to these U20 teams, and we'll kind of see what happens, man. This is honestly fun. I think, watching a lot of these teams go at it, it's definitely very cool to see because you're going to see a lot of these players coming up, obviously on the first teams and, potentially playing in the World Cup in the future. So, yeah, man, you make a good point there. So love that. Sweet stuff, man. Let's go ahead and get into the last little part of the episode with our... For week match day 38, 37, something like that, kind of wild match days that MLS is kind of doing at this point. So I don't know, man, this is like insane.
At least from the graphic that I made this past week, and when I looked it up on their website, it was match day 27. So this week 27? Should be 28. This week should be 28 is what I'm trying to say.
28? Or 38?
I might be tripping. It might be 38.
Okay, you might be tripping because I'm like 20. I thought that was a while ago, brother.
Yeah, you're right. It's 28.
Okay, so solid. So anyways, you guys are seeing these games, correct?
No.
Did I not? Yes,
no, you are.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, again, we have that game tomorrow. Very big game for Chicago Fire. We've already spoken about it. We'll kind of see how that one goes. We'll keep an eye on it. But a full slate on Saturday and it looks like we might have a couple games on Sunday. So could be a pretty good weekend for the soccer fans of the MLS. So let's go ahead and take a look. Just kind of looking at this at a glance, what game stands out to you, Fern? Just looking at this, give me one game that there's one that you're just like, hey, I'm gonna watch this one. I'm gonna try to watch this one, even though it's gonna cut into my NFL time. What game am I kind of looking forward to on Saturday?
For sure. So Saturday, I have two for sure. I'm gonna have to watch the Inter Miami game just because I have to, legally obliged to, or required to. And then obviously, depending on tomorrow's outcome, I will be watching the New York versus the FC Cincinnati game to see how it goes. Only if Inter Miami win tomorrow, because if they don't win tomorrow, if they lose, then there's no point in watching that game because New York is out. But I'm pretty confident that Miami will win tomorrow, so I will be watching this New York Red Bull game, because when you have a team fighting for their lives, in quotation marks, for their lives, for their playoff spot, it usually makes for either a really good game or a very depressing game, because you just see their confidence just slowly wither away throughout the game. But yeah, I'm gonna enjoy this game for sure.
Yeah, that's a good one. No, I do like this game. This is definitely going to be very interesting. But yeah, you do make a point. Like, if Miami wins, does Red Bulls even like try? Who knows? We'll see. Should be interesting. PZ, what do you think, my guy? What game stands out to you for this Saturday?
Don't want to beat a dead horse. I really do like that New York Red Bulls game versus FC Cincinnati. We already called out the Inter Miami Chicago game, like you already mentioned. That's another one to keep an eye out on. And then that Philly Union versus New York City FC. Supporter Shield implications on that one, I guess you could call out. Mm-hmm. But otherwise, I think it's going to be a couple of the games that we're all going to be keeping our eyes on this week.
Yeah, for sure. This is a very tough matchup too. I think this is an interesting one because, New York City FC, they've just been on a warpath and have definitely kind of, solidified themselves as a contender for the Eastern Conference. So that will definitely be a very good game. So I definitely like that matchup. And we'll kind of see what happens with Philly with that loss with Quinn Sullivan. So good call out there, my friend. We'll see what happens with that. Kind of going off of the train, what you guys were saying, there's probably 2 games, maybe even 3 games that I'm kind of looking at here. But very quickly, Orlando City, Columbus. I think this could be a very good game, given the positions that they're in the table with the Eastern Conference. 7th place against 8th place, 50 points, 52 points. Yes, they've already technically clinched, but at this point, it's like, hey, do we? We're kind of battling for that to not be in that play-in game. So whoever kind of gets that on top and gets into the 7th place position, like that's kind of where you want to be. But whoever ends up losing this game is definitely going to be potentially in contention to kind of go up against Chicago Fire or the Red Bulls, depending on who gets in for that final playoff spot. So this one kind of looks interesting to me. And then also kind of have to shout out the hometown team with Real Salt Lake and Colorado Rapids. Do you guys remember the joke you told me about this?
Rocky Mountain Oysters.
Do you remember that, PZ? Do you remember the mention of those? By the way,
I do recall.
Yeah. Okay, you do recall. I obviously didn't know what that was, and then obviously I looked it up, and they were like, "Whoa!" And then obviously Fern mentioned that he's eaten some, and he loves them, and he absolutely dreams about eating them every single day. So he's a big fan.
With or without Cholula?
He has them dry.
I eat them every day. They're so delicious.
You know what? When he talked about them last, he said he puts mayonnaise on them.
I don't put mayonnaise on them. They come with the mayonnaise.
Okay, nice. But this is a very cool matchup. Obviously, it's a rivalry game. It's the Rocky Mountain rivalry there. Colorado obviously being in 8th place, so kind of already somewhat into the playoffs. But again, Real Salt Lake definitely in the running. So if they get this win, they will become tied with Colorado with the 40 points. So if they win, Colorado loses, like this picture here will just get crazy, in my opinion. So I think this is a very fun game to take a look at. And we'll see. We'll see what happens on Saturday at 7:30. Going to be a fun one. And then lastly, we'll kind of look at some of these games for Sunday. 2 games. Obviously not too much to kind of look at here. two teams that are definitely already in the playoffs, two that are maybe potentially not. We'll kind of see. I'm assuming I already know who you guys are kind of favoriting here, but I guess the question here would be, could there be an upset with San Jose or Atlanta for either of these two games?
I feel like the Whitecaps want to finish first in the Western Conference, and they need to win this game. I don't think they'll choke against San Jose. San Jose isn't the worst team ever, so they could lose to them. But with them basically being able to get first, they're tied on points with San Diego with one game behind. I just feel like they're going to want to win these next couple games. They're wanting to finish first. You want to finish first in your conference. I know it doesn't with the playoff format. It doesn't really matter too much. But yeah, I'd rather play FC Dallas, San Jose, Colorado, or Real Salt Lake instead of Portland Timbers, which I believe is who they would face if they finish second currently as it is. But yeah, they're definitely gonna. I feel like they have to try hard. They've been playing really well. They've tied against Portland and Seattle, two pretty good teams. So I'm hoping that they get this win and finish first because I believe they were like last year or something like that. So that'd be a crazy turnaround. So
both of these teams were very bad last year. Any comments there, PZ?
No, bro. I'm just excited to watch the Whitecaps, like Vern mentioned already. Like you've already come this far. Why not just finish the season strong? Like hopefully they can finish out in the top dogs there in the West. We'll see how San Diego FC. Because how close are they?
San Jose's technically in the playoffs right now.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, these guys are already in. Vancouver's got a game in hand, so they still need to play one extra game to catch up to San Diego, but they're tied in points.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, yeah, strong start, strong finish for Vancouver. I think is what we can expect to see. But and then do I see Atlanta United upsetting LAFC? Absolutely not. But who knows, man? Who knows?
Not look at that form. No less than 3 goals in the last 4 games for LAFC.
Dude, that's insane, bro. 4-4-4-3. That's just. And this is when they bought. Wait, did they have Sun here?
Yeah, they had Sun for San Diego. They lost that game though.
Okay, so I mean, that's a good point, dude. I don't know, man. I mean, obviously the favorite here is going to be LAFC, but I mean, we've mentioned this a couple times. I think Atlanta tied. Yeah, they tied against San Diego. They've obviously been losing some games here. They beat a good Nashville team. Who knows, man? Maybe they come in. They're like, "Yo, we just want to mess some stuff up. Let's go ahead and win this game." Who knows? But I think LAFC is very, very.
They did tie against San Diego.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned. So we'll see, brother. I don't know. I mean, at this point, like clearly all of us are going to go with LAFC on this pick here, but would we be surprised if LAFC somehow ties?
Flip it. I was gonna say flip it. If Vern says it, we're counting it.
Flip it. Nice.
Let's real quick. Who you guys got winning tomorrow? So we have it settled today.
Oh.
I got Miami.
I got
Miami and Chicago.
I don't want no switch ups tomorrow.
Dude, it's gonna be a tough one. I think Miami wins. I'll go with Miami.
My gut is saying Miami, but I almost want to pick Chicago. But the corazón is telling me to go Chicago here.
I'll tell you what, this is not a game to guess the goals scored. At least for me.
Give me, no, you know what? Lock it in. Give me Miami.
You had me there. You had me in the first half. Solid. Okay, so we're all going for Miami. I think it's the safest bet, but I will be excited to see tomorrow and see if the Chicago team comes out swinging, bro. If they throw that first punch.
I need to go back to like all the podcasts every time we've done a pick. Have I ever picked Miami to lose? Have I ever done?
I think
one game,
maybe once or twice.
Once, okay.
Yeah. So, but anyways, solid stuff. That is it for the Correct Soccer Podcast, fellas. Last comments here. Anything that we missed that you would like to say?
See you next week, crackheads.
Love that.
We'll get the pipe for you ready for next week, crackheads. Don't worry. No, but you know what? With the season coming to an end, it's crazy. I don't know what you guys think. What are we, like 30 episodes in or something like that? 33. crazy. I didn't think at the beginning when we first started we'd be doing it for this long. Honestly, I
Need to
feel
push
like
y'all. We gotta push y'all to get
yeah,
on
we
here.
gotta make it. But yeah, I mean, shout out to everybody watching. Shout out to the people watching for the vibes and not the entertainment. You know who you are. And yeah, I mean, playoffs coming around. Hopefully things get a bit crazy. Some exciting games. Hopefully me and the boys can get together. Whether
Yeah.
it's just here and maybe watch a game live or something, kind of just have a watch party and whatnot. So yeah,
Nice. Love it. Nice, boys. Well, yeah, again, thank you for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Again, like, share, subscribe, do all the things for us. We really appreciate it. It goes a long ways. But yeah, this is it. This is the Crack Soccer Podcast, episode number 33. We'll be back next week with some more fire. Super, baby. Let's go. Appreciate y'all. Peace.